So should I talk about the entire episode or should I just talk about the last 5 minutes? um, okay, well, if that's settled.
May I have this dance?
So, who did you want to ask out?
Oh, it's not important.
Okay, I think we have enough of that. um, yeah, this is the Owl House. This is episode 16, and if I had to take a wild guess, probably gonna be the most popular video of this vlog series. Enchanting, Grom, Fright. I had no clue what this episode was going to be about going into it the first time. I just saw the title, I saw the subhead, and I'm like, oh, okay, their version of prom, going to a dance, maybe Luce will try and ask someone out, that yada 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 stuff. Oh boy, was I completely wrong. So, I think, well, let me just say, Amity and Luce, I adore them. Like, just that dance scene alone. I've played that. I've replayed that scene so many times because it's just the music, the visuals, the colors, the dance. I mean, the choreography of the dance. It's quick, but man, is it good. I mean, oh my god, that was such a cool moment for the show and just for LGBTQ plus overall. I mean, and I think what I really liked about the whole scene is, they don't really, it's not fully addressed. I mean, because, Luce reads the ripped up letter, and she's like, oh, you were afraid of being rejected. And then after the dance, she's like, so who are we gonna ask out? And then Amity just tosses to the side, and it just rolls out and just says Luce's name. Not, they never they never, you don't need anything else. You're like, holy crap, Amity's gay and she likes Luce. Holy crap, that's crazy. And they didn't have to say it. They visual storytelling. I honestly, that's the best way to do it because the more you make it feel normal, the more you don't fully emphasize how the actual thing. In my opinion, that's what makes it great because anytime you have a moment where it's like, the boys made a pretty good point on that. There was in season 2 when when Maeve has to basically confess on camera during their shooting of a film that she's gay. She literally states like, "I'm gay," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's not how you want to do it." It's really not, in my opinion, because I mean, I'm full support for LGBTQ plus. I mean, it's just because it's what you love someone, you should love them. I mean, you shouldn't have to be told you can't because they're the same gender as you. Or okay, I'm not gonna actually describe. I'm gonna just stop there because I don't want to dive too deep into this because I'm not. I mean, I'm a support of it, but I don't know fully how to describe a person. Like, I'm a he his kind of I'm a he his. So, yeah. Okay, let's get away. Okay, let's get away from that. But yeah, I mean, I really hope Luce and Amity really do become a couple because as we've seen from past shows, they usually wait until the finale, the final episode, or to bring them together. I mean, so hopefully that doesn't happen in this series. I really hope. I mean, the episode where Amity tells Luz, or I actually thought this would be funny. What if it was the other way around? What if like Luz develops feelings for Amity and then she tries to write a note? Like I did this is in my fanfic that I wrote for I posted I'll put the link in the description down below. So basically what I have in that is that Luz decides to write a note to Amity confessing her feelings, but then she accidentally she loses the note, freaks out about it, and then Basha finds it, and then she is going to read it, but then I have someone intervene. It's not Amity, it's not Luz. Then things kind of continue to spiral out of control, and then Luz starts freaking out because she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have written a note. I should have just told Amity straight up." And then that's when Amity comes in and like, tell me what straight up. And so, and then it just yeah. I mean, actually, if you guys want, I can like I can read some of my fanfic on this channel. Like, I mean, it's dialogue heavy based. Like, I don't really emphasize too much on like the settings and like descriptions and stuff. I really like dialogue heavy stuff in terms of my writing. Like, I mean, I love visual storytelling as well. I'm just really not that good at doing that, mainly because I'm in college, so I really don't have that much time to sit down and like think of just painting a picture or just like describing a full-on scene. I mean, except when it's needed. I'm way off topic right now. Let's just go through the episode. So to start, Luz learns her third spell. It's plants, and part of me kind of wishes they emphasized it more. I mean, again, you didn't have to. I wouldn't have dedicated a whole episode to it because, well, I mean, kind of like what I said about the ice spell, how that was such a cool moment. I feel like just the opening with Luz looking at a plant through a magnifying glass and like seeing the glyph and then drawing it out and then seeing that it's working. It's cool, but it didn't really bring that oh crap moment. Like, it was just like, oh cool, a new spell. But then so she goes to so while she's doing that, she gets a text from her mom, and just the reaction on her face just pretty much says it all. She has no idea how to talk to her now because she's like, I mean, she even says to the king, what am I supposed to tell her? Hi, Mom, not in camp, actually in a demon realm. And did you know that witches and magic actually exist? I mean, that's gonna be an episode down the line. Like, I hope they don't do an episode where it's like Luz's mom shows up and they have to pretend it's a summer camp. I doubt they'll do that because how the heck can you pull that off? I mean, Ida, like, as a counselor you could possibly pass as a, but I doubt it can work with the Owl House. I mean, unless they go to the human world, but again, I'm thinking too far ahead. I really love this episode. It's so fun. It's so awesome. So Luz goes to school, and then she discovers that the school is having a dance that they call Grom. It's more than just taking prom and just replacing it with the G. There's actually a backstory with it. And so Amity, so Luz is there with Will and Gus, and then Amity shows up, and then she has. At first, she's like, hey, watch it, but then she sees who it is, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, yeah. And she drops a pink note that she has, and Luz like picks it up and says, here you go, and then Amity like quickly swipes it. And then Bum comes onto the intercom and says that he's announcing who Grom Queen is, and it's Amity, and everyone in the school is like gasping in shock, and it's like, oh my god, it's Amity! Oh no, it's Amity! And of course, Luz has no idea what that means, and so she's like, oh yeah, cool, up top. Amity runs off, and then Luz at first she doesn't really fully know what Grom is until she goes into the gym and discovers what's there. Like, so she finds this button, she presses it, and then there's this weapon. It opens up the floorboards and reveals this little like dungeon kind of area, and then there's a weapon. There's like weapons that spawn. One of them is Cloud's Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII. Really nice touch there. I love it. Also, Brass Knuckles, if that's a Gravity Falls reference. Awesome. So then Amity's there, and she basically tells Luz what the whole thing is, and so Grom is short for Grometheus the Fearbringer, and so it's kind of like, basically it's a monster that takes the form of your greatest fears, and so Amity doesn't want to do it because she states that her fear is rather embarrassing, but I mean, really, it's like, if you're going up against a beast that becomes your greatest fear, who the heck would want to stand up against that? So Luz, and so obviously Amity doesn't want to. She's really scared of doing it, and so she tries to talk out of it, but she can't. So then Luz takes her place, because she feels like she can do it, even though Ida and King are like, yeah, you probably can't. Like, Ida even says, like, he's above that thing's above your pay grade. I'm like, do you pay her? So yeah, of course. So Luz takes Amity's place, and they have to they do very little training because they don't really have the time. So like Luz gives a list of things that she's afraid of or like creeps her out, but Amity points out like that isn't enough. Like, it's more than just things that creep you out or gross you out. It's like your deep dark fear. And so for Luz, for what she tells the Amity, Emma and Edgar, they're helping her train, she's afraid that Ida will always look down upon her and like keep her down, and which will prevent her from becoming or reach her true potential. And so that's what they think it is. That's what she thinks she is. But after getting another text from her mom in the episode, you start putting two to two together, and you're like, okay, I think we all know what her biggest fear is. And so yeah, they go to Grom, and Ida, this is really the first this is one of the first episodes where you see Ida really anxious, like, because she's because, well, I mean, she finds out that Luz is trained to be Grom Queen, and oh yeah, she also drops this cool line. She's like, what's the point of watching a kid be eaten if it's my kid? It's such a good line, and it's an Ida line, but it's also a pretty caring line, because it's like, yeah, what's the point of watching it if it's my kid getting eaten? And so so they're at Grom, and Gus is kind of being the commentator, and he has King as his co-host, and it's pretty. And I actually like that duo. I like that duo with Gus and King. I mean, I feel like they can work off each other pretty well. I mean, when King does get stage fright, yeah, there's that. But there's a bit with Amity and Luz. Amity is in this pretty straightforward outfit for Grom, but Luz's outfit is, I'll admit, the first time I saw it, I was like, but then I was like thinking, no, yeah, I feel like that is something Luz would do, because like, I mean, from what I showed you at the beginning, it's like, it's a suit. It starts off as a suit, but then it has the tutu, and then she has her leggings, and then she has boots. And I feel like, yeah, that's a pretty interesting combo, but I imagine that's what Luz would wear. I mean, it was that or the witch with the dark side, or an otter with the dark side. So I mean, I really like her outfit. I think and I've seen cosplay of it. It's pretty cool. But Amity is like, they have like I said, she and Luz have a moment. Like, Amity's like, thank you, you've done things I couldn't possibly have imagined doing, and even Luz makes a joke. It's like, you going soft on me, Blight? So Luz goes in, and I like how she fights, because so obviously her most deadly spell of the three is the ice spell. So what she does is she takes a mace. I think it's called a mace. It's the it's the stick with the chain with the spiky ball, and you like do this with it or slam. So like she takes that one. She takes the ice glyph and puts it on the thing, so that way when she slams it on a surface, it then triggers the ice spell, and it like it's cool. So like she's battling Grom as at first it takes forms of like the things that grossed her out or creeped her out, like people who want to debate online, humans stuck in cats' bodies while also having human heads. Surprised they didn't have Milk show up in that because they had that bit. And so it looks like Luce's Dom is gonna actually do it, and then at first Grom then takes the form of a dark Ida, but then it like reads Luce's mind because it can do that. And I love how it doesn't just simply turn. Okay, so, I mean, like I said, you can imagine what her greatest fear is, so like her mom. So I like how it doesn't just simply turn into Luce's mom. Instead, it turns into the portal, and then it opens up, and then Luce's mom steps in. And I really like that because it really emphasizes how it could happen. Like, yeah, like Luce is, just like, because imagine if Luce said it out loud, she's like, yeah, my biggest fear would be the portal popping up and my mom stepping right out. It's just like, that's basically what happens. And so she all of a sudden has to confront her mother, and she can't. So like she tries. She's like, it's not what it seems. It's not. And of course, the big moment is, of course, her mom saying like, you've been lying to me all these weeks. And so Luce, she can't handle, she can't face it, so she runs off. I mean, well, if it stayed as her mom, I think it would have been better. But considering it goes from being her mom to like this monster-like thing with Luce, with the mom's body on top, I felt like it kind of diminished that. I'm like, you can still fight that, I feel like. But yeah, so Luce runs off, and at first it seems like Ida is going to save her, but then Amity actually steps in and saves Luce. And all while King is, after he gets stage fright, he then like tries to commentate the whole thing, but he still messes up a bit. But he's definitely more confident in it. But really, the main focus is Amity and Luce, and Amity like apologizes to Luce, saying like, I never should have let you I never should have let you take in my place. I should have fought my own battle and stuff. And then we see Amity's big fear, which I mean, I get why she says it's embarrassing, because I mean, I think we've all had that moment where we're scared of asking a certain person out and being rejected. And so I get that, but again, it's like I really like how the monster, like it, because Amity steps in front of it, the monster takes her, reads her mind, then goes down into a very dark figure of a certain someone. Oh, who am I kidding? You already saw the video. Luce. It takes the form of Luce, but it's hard to recognize her. I mean, if you put them side to side, you can definitely see the similarities, mainly with the head and like the hair. But other than that, it's kind of hard to tell that it is Luce. Like even Luce is like, who is that? I mean, I feel like part of it is because she's kind of oblivious with things. But the thing takes Amity's note out of her pocket and rips it. And I like how, again, it's just the simplicity of it. It's like you don't need to say anything. It's just, yeah. How do you feel about that? So then Luce runs up. Luce picks up the note, and she had the bottom half of it, so she only saw, will you go to Grom with me? And Amity took the top half, as we saw what the top half was. So Luce says, you were just afraid of being rejected. It's okay. What if I went to Grom with you? And then Amity's like, really? And then Luce says, Luce says, that's what friends do. And I'm like, I mean, you could brush that off and say, yeah, she's just being nice, but I mean, you can also be like, oh, friend zone. Ugh. I mean, again, I imagine with Amity and Luce's relationship as it grows, I hope Luce and Amity get together. I mean, I doubt they're gonna hold that out. I mean, there's no way you can at this point, because you reveal this early in the series that she has feelings for Luce, so you can't possibly, especially in 2021, you can't. So they have the dance. Like I said, it's probably my favorite moment of the whole series so far. Just it's such a cool dance. It's such a cool moment. It's again, it's simple, but it's cool. And yeah. Yeah, so then they defeat Grom. They celebrate, all the students are cheering for them. They like hoist them up and they carry them off, and it's like, yeah, they're having fun. And then Luce goes back to the owl house, and she texts her mom, like, because like she goes in and it's like she's really down on herself, because she's like, yeah, we won, but even in the end, I couldn't face my fear. I couldn't face it myself. I had, like, she's like, Amity had to come in and save me. And so, but then her mom texts her, and so she at first was gonna send her a duck emoji, but then she's like, you know what, all right. So like first she says like, I miss you too, and then she kind of encrypts what really happened that day. She's like, I'm not gonna lie, today was tough, but when things got, or no, it's like, not gonna lie, today was really hard, but when things got tough, my friends pulled me through it. I think you would really like them. Just really can't. I'll text you again. Hope to hear from you again. See you again. Basically, just yeah. And then it's a touching moment, and I mean, whenever we have Luce and her mom, and like her mom discovers what happens. I mean, there's definitely gonna be that moment of like, oh my god, you've been here this whole time, you lied to me, all that. But I feel like Luce, the two. I mean, I feel like the two will really make amends rather with the. But again, we don't know when it's gonna happen or how it's gonna happen, and the episode doesn't end on that nice note, though. It ends on this rather creepy, mysterious note in a way, because her mom texts her and says, love receiving your letters. And so Luce is like, oh, that's a cute way of saying text. And then we cut to Luce's mom. She's going to bed, and then on her dresser are all these letters from someone, because or they're from someone that's not Luce, because it says from Luce. And it's like it's spelled Lus, but then it's crossed out, and then it's spelled Luz. And it's like, what the heck? What? It just opens up this new storyline and like mystery. It's like, what the freaking heck? It's like we don't get a break. It's like we have this awesome moment between Luce and Amity, but now we have this. What the heck? Dana, what the heck? Disney, what the heck? Well, I doubt Disney was like, yeah, that's what we want to do. But yeah, so this is really the episode that made the Owl House. Like, for some people, this is what really made the Owl House. For me, I was fully on board with this before this episode even came. Before I even watched this episode, and pretty much when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is awesome. This show is amazing. This show is gonna be awesome. I mean, because, like I said, the dynamic between Luce and Amity, it's, it has its, I mean, right now it has its moments, but I imagine by the end of the series, they're gonna be, like, inseparable, and it's really gonna make things hard when Luce might have to go back to the human world, and it's like, you got that question. Oh man, yeah. It's, I mean, part of me should have seen this coming, because episode 13 really hinted this with, like, like that moment with Amity being like, oh, so you go to the same school now, that doesn't change anything. But this is really a nitpick, and I really mean this as a nitpick. maybe if we had one extra episode with Luce and Amity before this one, then I would kind of see the Amity developing more of the crush for Luce, because because we have we have episode 3 where Amity first pops up, then we have episode 5 where she and Luce kind of have that moment of like, okay, you're not, or that moment of like, okay, we're not fully bullies. I'm not fully a bully to you now. Then episode 7 is when they make amends. Episode 12 is when we see them kind of as friends. Episode 13, like I said, is that little drop in there with like, okay, so you two go to the same school now. Episode 14 is when they're working together and they kind of like have, like helping Willow with their memories. And then you have this episode. Maybe, I mean, I can see, yeah, Amity developing that crush for Luce, but I guess I just wish that we saw that develop more. Like maybe an extra scene with Amity and Luce, and just they're talking, and Amity like replies, and then she gives like this look of like a smile or something, and then you like focus on that, and you like see like and you're like, interesting. Or I'm sorry, I'm just it kind of, you can, I'm not saying it's fully out of left field. I felt like there was not enough there to say that it wasn't out of left field. But again, that's me. That's a nitpick, and like I said, I'm all the way with this. I really hope this continue. I really hope this relationship is allowed to blossom and yeah. Overall, it's just a really fun episode, and like I said in understanding Will, these last couple of episodes are just, oh boy. So, all right, I think I've talked enough about this episode, so hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next one.